Hi everyone. Now that you've built a rocket, or 2 or 5 or how many you have, you're going to want to launch it at some point, I would think. And in this video I'm going to show how to prepare a minimum diameter streamer recovery for launch. Lots of these rocket kits are made by a lot of different companies. 4 examples I have here. On the left is an Estes Yankee, an Estes Wizard, an Estes Viking, and then a custom Rocketry spin thing. What all these have in common is that the body tube is also the motor mount. So a motor fits directly into the body tube without any additional motor mount tube or engine retainer or things like that. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to take the others away and I'm going to concentrate on the Yankee. Now, some things you'll need. First of all, obviously a rocket motor, an igniter, an engine plug, and some recovery wadding. Now here, these are all Estes products, and normally if you buy a package of motors, it will come with these other things as well, although it's a good idea to have spares on hand. Now, since this rocket does not have any type of engine retention, it doesn't have a clip or a screw-on retainer or anything like this, we're going to use a friction fit type of motor retention. And so the first thing to do is simply slide the motor in, okay, and see if that's going to stay in by itself. In almost every case it will not. So start out by taking a piece of masking tape and wrap this around the lower part of the rocket, the part that has the nozzle here. You don't want it up around the upper part or you may get it stuck. Okay, so initially just enough tape to go around the rocket motor once. And go ahead and slide this in. Now notice sometimes you get this little bit of stuff, excess paper here on the edge of the motor, and that can help get in the way. If it does, just take your thumbnail here and kind of chamfer it in. And it also usually helps if instead of trying to stick it in just exactly straight, is angle it a little bit and then tip it in. Okay, so now give it a little bit of twist as you hit that masking tape, and this should be snug. Okay, now you don't want to force it so hard that it won't go in without buckling the body tube, but it shouldn't be so easy that it slides out again. Okay, so if this is in, it should be hanging off about 6 millimeters or about 1/4 of an inch there. And it should not be able to come out easily. If you have to actually take a pair of pliers to take that out, that's not unusual at all. So we've got our motor now nice and snug in there. Okay, now that my engine is installed, I've opened up the rocket to reveal the streamer here. And if your rocket's been sitting on a shelf or something for a long time, you want to take this streamer and get it all nice and stretched out, get any kinks out of it. Okay, and then we'll set it aside for just a moment. Here we're going to take 2 pieces, 2 squares of the recovery wadding. Now this looks like it's Kleenex or toilet paper, but it's actually treated with a flame retardant chemical, so don't substitute other types of tissues here. And here I'm just kind of loosely wadding it, and the idea is to form kind of a piston. And this will help push the recovery system out while preventing the hot gases and materials from the ejection charge from damaging the streamer and the shock cord. Okay, so just do this with 2 pieces. Just stuff those down inside. Alright, now I'm going to take my streamer, and instead of trying to roll it up all at once, I'm going to fold it lengthwise over itself a few times here. And this will shorten it dramatically and make it a lot easier to work with. And you don't have to worry about getting this all nice and lined up. Just fold it up till you get to about that point, and then you finish by rolling it together. Okay, now gather the shock cord up into a few loops. You can simply stuff those down inside. Skinny fingers work well here. Alright, and then I'm going to put my streamer in. Alright, tuck it down there. And then the remaining shock cord goes in on top. And here we want to make sure that none of the shock cord gets caught between the tube and the shoulder. So if you're feeling a lot of resistance there, it means you probably got it caught. And now we want to do what's called a shake test. All right, so I'm going to give this a shake. Okay, and if the nose doesn't come out, then you're fine. Okay, now if there's a lot of resistance when you pull it, then either you've got some shock cord stuck in there, or too much paint, or just a thick nose cone. In that case, just take a little bit of sandpaper and just lightly sand around the shoulder a few times, test fit it again, and get it to the point where it comes out relatively easily, but it doesn't slide out when you shake it like this. Okay, that shows a little bit of sliding, and if you're worried about it, what you can do is just take a little tiny piece of masking tape. And this one, it's not doing much, so I'm just going to take even a smaller one here. So just like a little rectangle there. I'm going to put that on the shoulder near the top where it goes into the nose cone there. So just like that, a little bit. Okay. And now that doesn't shake loose at all, but it still comes out readily there. Okay. So that part's ready. The final part is to install the igniter. Now normally we do this out at the launch site. I'm just going to show it here to give you an idea of what you'll do outside. But for safety reasons, we usually don't transport rockets with igniters installed. Okay, this is an Estes igniter here. And what we've got, these are two conducting wires, and right up in here, let me see how close I can get this. Still focus. Okay, so right there at the tip, there's a little bit of glue that covers a very, very thin piece of nichrome wire. And when current passes through that, that nichrome wire heats up to white hot, and that's what ignites the propellant inside the motor. Okay, so what has to happen here is this tip needs to be touching down inside. So if you just set this in, you'll feel it stop. Don't force it. Okay, and what I do then is I'm going to bend this at about a right angle to the rocket. Okay, and then my plug just goes right on top of that. Push it straight down firmly. All right, but not too hard. Okay, and then out here, just bend these apart. It'll make it easier to attach the launch system to it. Generally, you want to make sure that this is not on the same side as your launch lug, so that when the rocket is on the launch rod, this is sticking out in one direction or the other, not out toward the launch rod. Okay, and with that, this rocket is ready to go. And as I said, normally we'll save this till we get outside at the launch site. Have a great launch, a safe recovery, and stay tuned for my next video.